Nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. But I want only your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. Ainanda tanuja kinkaram patitam mam vishme bhavam buddho kripayatam apada pankajat stita dhuni sadrusham bachintaya. O son of Maharaj Nanda, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please, therefore pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atom at your lotus feet. Nainam galadashru dhareya Badanam gadgadarudhaya gira Pulake nuchintam vapukada Tavanama grane bhavishyati. O Almighty Lord, when will be my eyes be decorated with tears of love, flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice be choked up, and when will the hairs on my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? Yogayatam nimishena chakshusha pravashyatam shunyayatam jagat sarvam Govinda virhename. O Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain. And I am feeling all vacant in the world in your absence. Ashilesha vapadaratam pinastumam adarshnan maram hatam krutova yatha tathava vidadhatu lampado matprana natastu saevana praha. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and He shall remain. So even if He hinders me roughly, why His embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me? He is completely free to do anything and everything, for He is always my worshipable Lord, unconditionally. Shri Shri Shikshashtra ki jai, Shri Shri Gaur Nitai ki jai, Shri Shri Panchatattva ki jai, Shri Shri Gaurang Mahaprabhu ki jai. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Dear devotees, brothers and mothers, in this material world we are here born for sins. Some are born, I am born 78 years back, some are 50, 60, 20, 30. We are not from here. We are not supposed to do anything in this material world. Why? Because we are not from here. If we do so many things, okay, first, what we should do? We should be only attach ourselves with Krishna. We should only work for Krishna. If we do anything other than working for Krishna, we will become attached to those things. And that attachment is very dangerous, and that attachment is going to bring back to this material world. Devotees, this material world is described by Krishna, Dukhalya, place of miseries. Mamopetya punarjanama Dukhalyam shashvatam. Yesterday I was talking, Prabhupada has mentioned Bhute Pavo. Bhute Pavo means possessed by a ghost. I heard in Suriname there are many ghosts, but in Guyana there are ghosts. Yes, yeah, you're right. I tell also the same thing. Ghosts are everywhere. Sometimes a person is possessed by a ghost and ghost speaks through him. It speaks nonsense, not some relevant thing. Irrelevant is keep talk. Similarly, we are possessed by a ghost of attachment with this miserable material world. When this material world is not our home, when I am not this body, so why I should be attached to this body and this material world? That is the ignorance, gross ignorance. And the message is Krishna saying himself. He is saying, Yat karoshi yadashnashi yad juhosi dadasi yat yat tapasyasi kaunteya tad kurusham darpanam. Very clearly Krishna is saying, whatever you do, you should do as an offering towards me. Not do anything for doing for Krishna, it means not doing for in this, because whatever we will do for this material world, in this material world, end is zero. We are not going to get anything. We were born with closed hands, going to leave with open hands. So what we are taking with us? We cannot take anything of this material world, and nothing belongs to us also. So we are possessed by ghost of ignorance. This ghost of ignorance is even more dangerous than the real ghost. I know my grandfather has died, my father has died, my many relatives have died. But because of this ghost of ignorance, I think I am not going to die. How? If I think I am not going to die, if I think I am going to die, then I won't work for anything. Then I only work for Krishna. This is what Krishna is advising in Bhagavad Gita. So when we work for this material world, we become attached to this material world, and then in the next birth, we again come back to this material world. Prabhupada tells one story. There was one very rich man in Delhi, and he built a very palatial house, very big house. And then he died. He died, and next body, he became human body again in the body of a cobbler. His parents were cobbler. In India, cobbler sits on the street to repair the shoes. So, though he was in a cobbler body, but he was attached to his house, palatial house. He came there and sat in front of his house to repair the shoes. When he sat there, his sons came. They didn't know he's our father from previous life. Sons came and they beat him up. You rascal, beat him up and throw him out from there. They won't understand he's our father. Because of the attachment to the house, he came in front of the house. So this material attachment, dear devotees, is very dangerous. We should be only attached to Sri Krishna. This body is given to us by Krishna only for this purpose. Not for eating, not for sleeping, not for mating, not for depending. This eating, sleeping, mating, defending, these things we were doing in the animal kingdom also. Animals are not eating, they eat. They sleep, they mate, they defend. So, these things are there in this human body also. But Krishna has given a special gift to this human form. That gift is develop intelligence. I can discriminate. Here is my mother, here is my sister, here is my daughter, here is my wife. I can discriminate with all four different relationships. But animals can't understand this. Their intelligence is limited up to eating, sleeping, mating and defending. So devotees, this developed intelligence which is given to us by Krishna, it should be used properly. Not for eating, sleeping, mating and defending and become attached to this material body. This developed intelligence should be used. Oh, why I am here? Where I was before my birth? Where I am going to be after my death? Krishna is explaining everything in Gita. Other scriptures are also telling. Krishna is saying, Mame Vamso Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. All the jivas belongs to me. We are all jivas, souls. We belong to Krishna. But this body, we are not this body. This body is temporary. This body is so useless. There is one sect in India, it's called Mayavadis. Mayavadi also says we are not these bodies. They don't believe. They say this body is useless. But they have no other information. They become so antagonistic against this body, and they say God has no body. They come to this conclusion, God has no body. No, God's body is explained by Brahmaji. Ishvaraha Parama Krishna Satchit Ananda Vigraha Anadhir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. Ishwar means controller. And Brahman is saying Krishna is the supreme controller. Brahmaji thought in his mind that I am the controller because he is the creator of this planet. But no, I am not the controller. Krishna, you are the supreme controller. There are so many controllers, like this house is controlled by Mahaprabhu Das. But the kitchen department is not controlled by him. Is it true? It's controlled by whom? Originally, but Vishnu Priya is controlled by his wife. So we are not the controller. Krishna is the controller of everything. This is what Brahmaji said. But out of ignorance, we try to become controller. So by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we should try to get out of this ignorance. We should try to get out of this bhoot, this ghost. Ghost is called bhoot in Hindi. by becoming Krishna consciousness. We become so attached. There is a story of one king, Maharaja Harishchandra. He was a king of the whole world. It's called Chakravarti Samrat. But he was a pure devotee. What kind of pure devotees are? They are not attached to anything of this material world. Though he is a king, but not attached to anything. So what happened? There was a discussion in the heavenly planet. Naraji was there in the heavenly planet. King Indra and so many saints and sages were there. They mentioned that Naraji said, this Maharaja Harishchandra is a great personality. He is great devotee of the Lord. Maharishi Vishwamitra was also sitting there. He said, I don't believe this. How a king, man of pounds and pence and sense enjoyment, he can be the greatest devotee? No, he is. So I want to test him. I said, you can do this. So Vishwamitra came to Maharaja Harishchandra to test him. He asked him, I want your kingdom. He said, it was never mine. You can have. Immediately gave him the kingdom. Vishwamitra was struck with money. He is not attached to the kingdom. Then he wanted to, just let him down. But those who are pure devotees, Krishna is with them. It's all right, you gave me the kingdom. From today onward it belongs to me. When you give some dan, when you give some dan means something like you give some cows or horses, then you give some dakshina, some money also. He said, give me some dakshina. I said, okay, order me. He said, I want 1100 gold coins. So King Maharaja Harishchandra said, he ordered that from the treasury should be brought gold coin, 1100 gold coins. Immediately Vishwamitra said, "Ye kingdom you gave me, treasury doesn't belong to the kingdom." Yes. You work and give me the money. See, big test of a great devotee. He is a king. Immediately, he said, please give me some time. He sold his wife, Maharani Taravati. She was also a pure devotee. Sold his wife for 500 gold coins. Then he sold himself to a Chandala. Chandala means those who take care of the crematorium. If people comes and burn their bodies there, he takes the tax from them. He became the servant of a Chandala, Maharaja Harishchandra. Vishwamitra is trying his hard to let him down, but Maharaja Harishchandra is so great. What happened? Maharani Taramati, a great devotee mother, she has one son, Rohit. Prince, the son of a maid servant. She has to work hard. One day, she was milking the cows. It's different. One day, what happened? He was playing Rohit. And snake bite him. He died. See how much test. Now, Maharani Taramati wants to cremate her son. She has nothing. She brought to the crematorium, where is Maharaja Bharata has become the in charge of that crematorium. And he has to, anybody who cremate the body, he has to pay the tax. So she came and she didn't know my husband is in charge here. And He said, my son has died, I want to cremate him. He said, give me the text. He said, I have no money. Then I can't let you do this. And then, who's his father? The first he asked, okay, you give me, she has a Mangal Sutra. Mangal Sutra is those women, those who have their husbands, they put on this. So why don't you give me your this? Oh no, this is the sign of my husband. Who is the father of this boy who cannot cremate his son? He spoke very harshly. Maharaja Harishchandra, he couldn't recognize he is my wife and my son. Then she said, oh, my husband is a great... Who he was? She said, oh, you understood. My son, what happened to him? No, Maharaja Harishchandra is so great that I can let cremate my son here without tax. Then I'm cheating to my boss. See the purity and greatness. Then what to do now? They said, we all burnt ourselves, three of us. Made the, fire, and three of them sat there. Mother, father, and dead son. When we wanted to lit fire, immediately Lord Krishna, they appeared there. And Vishwamitra also appeared. Then he understood he was so great. So means one can be the king by the detached also. This is very vivid example. We should not be attached anything with this material world, anything of this material world, because sooner or later we have to leave this world. Me, you, he, she, nobody can stay here. And nobody knows when he is going to die, but nobody is preparing for that great test. Devotees, the preparation for the great test is that we become conscious of Krishna. We become totally dependent upon Krishna like Maharaja Bharat, Maharaja Harishchandra. When we are totally dependent upon Krishna, then end of life will come. We will be not thinking of anything of this material world. We will be thinking of Krishna. That is the perfection of life. Perfection of life is not to make a permanent home in a temporary situation, which everybody thinks. This is a general disease. Everybody is possessed with the ghost of attachment. Everybody. But Krishna's mercy is that he has sent his pure devotee Srila Prabhupada to teach us. Actually, Prabhupada wished everybody to return back home. But still it is up to us whether we want to return and stay here, rot here in this material world. Rotting means, like Lord Shiva mentioned this, he said, Punarapi jananam punarapi maranam punarapi janani jatare shayanam. Punarapi jananam punarapi maranam. You're taking birth again and again, and you are dying again and again. Iha sansare bahut ustare. This is the bad effect of this material world, birth and death. This material world is known as a mritu lok. Those who are born going to die. But nobody thinks. Because we are possessed by this ghost of attachment, we are working for our sense enjoyment. We are not supposed to do this. We are only supposed to work for Krishna. This is what Krishna is advising. Like Maharaja Harishchandra was working for him. His kingdom belongs to him. He immediately gave kingdom in charity. Then even he sold himself also. He sold his wife also. Just to protect that dharma. His character, his pastime was glorious. There was one movie was made on this Maharaja Harishchandra. So we have to learn this. Because Prabhupada has advised in us in many places. We are going to sit on a test, of departing from this material world. That time, we have a beautiful wife. She cannot help. Wife has a beautiful husband, and she is departing. Husband cannot help. Like where we took birth, our mother left first, father left later on. Nobody can help nobody. Nobody cannot help. Nobody can help. They cannot help. Who can help us then? Only Krishna, of whom we are forgetful, because we are lost in this material world. We are lost in this material world. There is one happening took place in Chicago. There was one person, he was working for one firm. And he had a lady boss. The firm was owned by one lady in America. They were both going to Canada to get some order. So they were at the Chicago airport. When I was in Chicago, I was told this incident. And this manager of the firm, who was with his lady boss, he was about 44 years old, young man. They were waiting for the flight. What happened? This young man at the airport had a heart attack. He fell down. He should remain down. He said, oh, so many people standing around. He stood up. Then again fell down. Then he couldn't stand up. He died there. So what is the guarantee of this life? So that's why in the Bhagavatam also it's mentioned by Srila Shukdev Goswami, Padam Padam Jata Biptam Na Tesham. On every step there is a danger. I don't know. I have lifted one step, I will lift next one. No, we don't know. So many happening takes place. But we fools, possessed by this ghost of attachment, Bhute Pavo, we won't come to our senses. You know when we will come to our senses? When that time has come. Now Yamduta has come with the Yampash. Yampash is a rope, is a tie the soul in that rope. They know the art only and pull out of the body. And person don't want to leave the body. By force they pull our soul out. And immediately that soul is given a Yatana De. It is described in the Garuda Puran. Yatana De is a body for punishment. And they tie that body with a rope, take the body. And a horrible situation is explained there. Very, very painful. Now he understands, oh, what I did. But nothing can happen. He cannot get rid of that problem. He has to suffer. He has to face all the problems. So devotees like Srila Prabhupada, they are warning us. Come to your senses. I have seen, by Prabhupada's mercy, I was able to understand his mind. Once, several times he mentioned, it's very troublesome, very painful. I can feel his expression by his mercy. It's very, very painful, very, very painful. Suffering so much. And whole description is there in the Garuda Puran. Let me tell you a little about the Garuda Puran. Garuda Puran is a Puran Lord Krishna, Lord Vishnu. Vishnu is an expansion of Krishna. They ride on the Garud. Wherever they have to go, they ride on the Garud and go. So Garudaji Maharaj asked the question to Lord Vishnu. He is Lord, my Lord. You mentioned me about your devotees, those who are your devotees. They come to you to the Vaikuntha planet, live eternally with you, with the transcendental body. Those bodies are free from birth, death, old age and disease, and enjoy eternally with you there. My Lord, those who are sinful people, those who are not working for you, those who are working for their sense enjoyment, what happens to them? Reply of Lord Vishnu. Lord Vishnu said, you asked me, Garud, this question, but you will be horrified even simply by hearing the punishment which they get. Not a Garudaji is going to punish, simply by hearing. It's so painful. Horrible pain, horrible. And those who are lost in this material world, they don't understand. So we need to get out of this. That's why Krishna is recommending in the Bhagavad Gita chapter 4, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadakshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshana. Spiritual master. Go to the spiritual master. Lord is recommending. Because Lord is all pure. Spiritual master who has taken to this process seriously is between Lord and the conditioned soul. Like Srila Prabhupada. He is guiding us, he is telling us. Because he is self-realized. He understands. And by his mercy, we should also try to understand that. Not that we get lost, stay lost and time is gone. You know, this process of Krishna consciousness, from which age one should take? One great devotee, Prahlad Maharaj, is saying. Prahlad Maharaj, when he was in the womb of his mother, Mother Kayadu, when Mother Kayadu was having Prahlad in her womb, what happened? That Hiranyakashipu, she was the wife of, Kayadu was the wife of Hiranyakashipu. He is a demon, big demon. So he wanted to attain more power to become immortal. So this Hiranyakashipu went to the forest to perform austerity. When he was gone, so demigods knew he is a great rascal, this demon Hiranyakashipu. Now his wife is pregnant, and if she gives birth, then there will be another demon was born. He was not there. He was very powerful, Hiranyakashipu. But he wanted more power. You know, demons, they want power only for others' destruction, for their enjoyment. Devotees want power for others' goodness, not for their enjoyment. Automatically powers come to the pure devotees also. Like Prabhupada has so much power, but he is just delivering the fallen souls, taking trouble himself. He is not enjoying at the age of 70, he is traveling, preaching, facing so many difficulties. So demon Hiranyakashipu, standing on the inner toes for very, very long time, with raised hands. When, they perform austerity, some disturbance comes also with the austerity. So Kayadu was alone. She was the wife of a king, but then demigods came, Indra and others. They kidnapped Kayadu. They were taking her. While they were taking her, to opposite side, Naraji was coming. Naraji is a great devotee. With love and devotion, which say, Naraji Maharaj ki. Naraji Maharaj ki. Only these two persons are saying, I can't hear others. If you glorify the pure devotees, you make advancement in spiritual life. You say, then your advancement is slow, very slow. Naradji Maharaj ki looks little maybe. Okay, so Naradji Maharaj says, what you are doing? Who's this? She's the wife of Hiranyakashipu, and she is pregnant, and we are taking her. She will give birth to a boy. We will kill him. Naradji said, leave him. Leave her. Why? In her womb there is no demon. Everybody respect Naradji, all right. Naradji took Mother Kayadu in her hermitage, wherever he was staying. He said, daughter, you stay here. And Naradji was advising, devotee association. Pure Naradji is the greatest devotee. Dhruva, Prahlad, Adi, so many, they were all the disciples of Naradji Maharaj. The great devotees, those who are in the scriptures, they were all devotees of Naradji Maharaj. Naradji's only business is to deliver the souls from the clutches of birth and death. So she was living, and Naradji was telling her kathas, pastimes of Krishna from this. And Prahlad Maharaj in the womb, he was hearing. She gave birth. In the beginning, Prahlad Maharaj has the association of a great Vaishnava, greatest Vaishnava of the time. Dhruv Maharaj is, Naradji Maharaj is there even now also. Great association. And Naradji blessed Prahlad Maharaj. And he grew up in a beautiful atmosphere, not in the palace, in the, ashram of Naradji Maharaj. He is now 5 years old, and Hiranyakashipu, he performed so much austerity, there was disturbance in the atmosphere. And then what happened? Then they all approached Brahmaji, then he said, oh, this demon is performing austerity. Brahmaji came, what do you want? His body has, eaten with the white ants. Only bones still is standing here. Brahmaji sprinkled some water. So what do you want? Why you perform great austerity? So, I want to become immortal. Brahmaji said, I have very long life, but I am not immortal. I have to die also one day. And how I can make you immortal? It's all right, then give me this benediction. I should not be killed by any man or animal, not daytime, not nighttime, not by any weapon. He asked a benediction that he will not be killed. He thought, no, nobody can kill me. So he performed great austerities, great atrocities to the devotees, and big trouble. Then his son, anyway, long story came, Prahlad Maharaj, Hiranyakashipu wanted to kill him also, because he is devotee. He doesn't want to follow his father. So he was sent to the school where Shukracharya is the spiritual master of the demons. Shukracharya was the spiritual master of Hiranyakashipu. So Shukracharya's two sons, Shand and Amark, they were, teacher. Shukracharya is guru, his sons are also guru. So Prahlad Maharaj was sent to school. He has no interest in that. They teach him like useless education, material education, like present education. What is this present education? Prabhupada said this is only to fill the belly. Even sometimes person is very educated, he cannot fill his belly. This is the education. Real education is described by Krishna in the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. He is saying, Arjun, Raj Vidya Rajghuyam Pavitram Idamuttamam Pratakshavagam Dharmayam Susukam Kartam Abhyam. Arjun, I am giving this king of knowledge. This knowledge is the king of knowledge, Raj Vidya. By having this, you will be satisfied. What is the knowledge Krishna was giving? Knowledge of soul and knowledge of super soul. Knowledge of eternity, that soul is eternal, super soul is eternal. We belong to super soul. We do not belong to this material world. So he got the knowledge from Naradji, Prahlad Maharaj. He was not interested in the materialistic knowledge, a waste of time. Chanting, dancing, Prahlad. So his classmates, the son of demons, they will ask, whenever their teacher goes out of classroom, Prahlad Maharaj make chant and dance everybody. So his classmate will say, Prahlad, this is our time to study, enjoy, play. This spiritual life we will take over when we will grow old. Generally people think we will take when we grow old. In young life, if we are not fully spiritual, forget, nobody can be, Krishna conscious when he is old. Nobody. So Prahlad Maharaj said, no, you must take to this Krishna conscious from the age of 5. Why? He said, Prahlad Maharaj's words in the Bhagavatam, Kaumar acharte pragyo dharman bhagavatanehi. One should take to this spiritual life from the age of Kaumar means 5 years old boy, not later than 5. Kaumar acharte pragyo dharman bhagavatanehi. Why from such a young age? Durlabha manusha janama. Prahlad Maharaj is saying this body is temporary, but this can deliver you the greatest benefit. What is that benefit? You can approach the supreme destination. You can return back home, back to Godhead. This is the benefit of this body. So you should not waste this body in any other thing just to cultivate Krishna consciousness. One should take to this process from the age of 5, not later than 5. Though body is temporary, but this can deliver us the greatest benefit. Through this temporary body, we can elevate the soul and return back home, back to Godhead, where life is full of knowledge, eternal and blissful. So, but we are so much lost, we are not becoming serious. We are not becoming serious. In the case of Prabhupada, Prabhupada has a wonderful father, Krishna conscious father. And Prabhupada, when he was 9 years old, he was having a Rath Yatra. He has a deity, Prabhupada, his father gave him the deity, Prabhupada, it was Radha Govinda deity. From young age, Prabhupada was Krishna conscious. So we should take to this process from the age of 5. It's all elite. But we should use our brain, like Krishna has mentioned in the 13th chapter, verse 9 in Bhagavad Gita, Janma mritu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanu darshanam. You remember, birth is horrible, death is horrible, Janma mritu jara, old age, not good, Old age is horrible. Janam ritu jara, vyadhi, sickness, horrible. Dosh, dukh, anxiety is not good. Faults, not good. One should see them. Why is he? Why is asking Lord? So that we can come to his shelter. We don't keep ourselves in this rotting material world, and in the end of our life we will simply sorry, won't be able to do anything. So we have to remember these things. This is actually bitter, but one has to speak the truth. Nowadays, Prabhupada used to say, these so-called gurus in India, they just speak what is good for the follower. Good for follower is only to be Krishna conscious, nothing else. But they are not themselves Krishna conscious. They are materialistic. They make their followers also materialistic. And end is zero. Follower is very rich man, but at the end, and one stroke of death, everything is finished. Nothing can help nobody. So, we have to, there's two things said by Saint Kabir, which are like this devotee. That's why he came here with us. He said, Maharaj, I like this. Say again. He came to listen again. Janma mrityu jara vyadhi dukkha doshanu darshanam. Saint Kabir is saying janma, birth. Not nourishment. दो बातन को भूल मत. Don't forget two things. जो चाहत कल्याण, if you want your future should be bright, नारायण एक मौत को, first is the death, दूजे श्री भगवान, second Krishna. दूजे श्री कृष्ण भगवान. नारायण एक मौत को, दूजे श्री कृष्ण भगवान. Don't forget two things. So that is inevitable. I cannot protect myself from death. Neither you can, nobody can. And it can come at any time. Old age is horrible, you know. Old age, so many problems, so many difficulties. We have one person, he came from Gujarat. He came to Udhampur. He went to see, have a darshan of Lord Shiva. From Udhampur you have to go to a place which is called Amarnath. There's a place there where Lord Shiva spoke the Amar Katha to Mother Parvati. It's in the hills, very top. People goes for darshan. Even now also, Shivalingam automatically made but with the snow. Darshans are there. People goes. So many people. So he was going there. While coming back, he stayed at the temple. You know, there was a earthquake in Gujarat. This person's wife, children, son, they all died. He was not there. He was gone to work. Somehow or other he was escaped. Now he has become old. But he understood this after seeing the death of his whole family. When he comes to the class, morning class, I will give. So he has very bad legs. He was not able to sit properly. I said, you can sit up the chair. He said, no, Maharaj. In front of you, I can't do this. I told him so many times. But he developed so much respect. That is very important, which we haven't developed in our heart. So he would take towel, sit down with, and legs sometimes this time like that. They were not able to sit properly. So many troubles are there in this lifetime. And Prahlad Maharaj is saying, take to the process of Krishna consciousness from the age of 5. He's telling to his classmates, not later than 5. Kaumar archate pragyo dharman bhagavatan hi durlabha manush janama tad api durubam arthadam. Why from young age? Because this body is very rare to achieve. Durlabh is very rare. You cannot born again and again in the human body. No. Once die and one died, finish. Don't bury the next body. Krishna knows. So Prahlad Maharaj is taken to this process from the age of 5. So, though this body is temporary, this can deliver us the greatest benefit. We can return to our real home. Devotees, the home of India, home of Suriname, home of Guyana is not our real home. We are here. You can live here maximum 100 years, not more than that. After me, you, she, we will kicked out of here. Forcefully we will kicked out of here. There is another thing that happened. In India, there are inns. Inns means where people can stay free for 3 days or so. One man came in the inn and he stayed there. Nice facilities there. Some people, rich people, make these inns called sarai, guest house also, but free guest house. So this man was supposed to stay 3 days. No, 6 days he didn't leave. He said, you haven't vacated the room. I like the facility, I will stay here. He's not ready to leave. So then he called the police. Said, this man came for 3 days, now he's not. Police take his leg and throw out. So what was better for him? Himself leave or get thrown out? What was better? Answer me. Huh? Yes. Similarly, we should leave everything ourselves. Not that we are forced to leave everything. That will be very horrible. Understand this. I have seen before Prabhupada, I have met a good number of Indian saints. Because my mother was very devoted person, very devoted. She will get up 3 o'clock. She was coming from a devoted family. And you believe, see, my uncles, mothers, brothers, they were chanting Hare Krishna. It was also divine arrangement. Before I met Srila Prabhupada, by Isis Prabhupada's mercy, when first time I left my home at the age of 9. I went to the jungle, but then I met one saint there. He sent me back. He said, no, you're too old, too young. I thought he will encourage me, he sent me back. Then at the age of 70, I left home, I came to Vrindavan. And that was a saint who came to our town, giving big lecture and making advertisement, and we are holding a sadhu smellan. Sadhu smellan means so many saints get together and speak. I thought I should go to Vrindavan. I came. I ran away from home, My family members took away my luggage, my suitcase. Without anything, I went. I went with him. When I went there, at the age of 70, that sadhu's character was a loose character person, only speaking, not following. Then again parents came, then it was divine arrangement. I happened to meet them, they grabbed me and took me back again. But I didn't like family life and household life. Then they wanted to get me married. Then I ran away. And then Krishna gave me, after so much test, he gave me Prabhupada. Second time when I went back home, so my uncles, they were initiated one Vaishnava saint. He was Nimbark saint. Nimbark Sampradaya is a bona fide Sampradaya. So, a god brother of my uncle, he happened to meet me with my mother. We were in another town and he was there. He said, sister, you send your son to me. Mata told me, you go to him. go to his place. I went to his place. Then he told me, you chant Hare Krishna. He told me to chant 14 rounds when I was 17 years old. I was chanting, but it was not coming from bona fide source. But I knew Mahamantra chanted. Then, Krishna's arrangement, I met Prabhupada. Then I got the mantra from Prabhupada, same Mahamantra. Then I felt different. Wonderful. Then I thought there's no regret in my life. So devotees, but I am trying to say, by the mercy of Prabhupada, remember death all the time. And remember Krishna all the time. When I have to leave this body, what I am doing? Why I am wasting my time? Because of material attachment. And attachment comes from where? Krishna is describing everything in Bhagavad Gita. Chapter 3, verse 36. Arjuna is asking the question to Lord Krishna. Arjuno vacha atha kena prayuktoyam papam charati purushaha anichannapi varshanya valadivan jojita. O descendant of Vishnu, Lord Krishna, why one is, impelled, not willingly by force, to commit sinful activities? Why it is? You have in your Arjuna said, O descendant of Vishnu, by what is one impelled to sinful acts, even unwillingly, as if engaged by force? What is the reason? And then in the purport, Prabhupada is saying, a living entity is a part and parcel of the Supreme, is originally spiritual, pure, originally, not now, and free from all material contamination. Therefore, by nature, he is not subject to the sins of the material world. By nature, not. But when he is in contact with the material nature, we are all in contact with the material nature. We are in contact with material nature, he acts in many sinful ways without hesitation and sometimes even against his will. As such, Arjuna's question to Sri Krishna is very sanguine as to the perverted nature of the living entities. Although the living entity sometimes does not want to act in sin, he is still forced to act. Very important point. I will repeat. It does not want to act in sin. He is still forced to act sinful actions. Still forced to act. Sinful actions are not, however, impelled by the super soul. Many people say, whatever we are saying, it's by super soul. No. Prabhupada says no. By the super soul within, but are due to another cause, as the Lord explains in the next verse. What is the next verse? Shri Bhagavan Uvach Kamesha Krodesha Rajagun Samadbhava Mahashanu Maha Papma Vidivenam Hibarinam. Haribol, you can have this mobile, it's good, Gita, Bhagavad is also there, na? We can have this. It's good mobile. Latest and good. When a living entity, the Supreme Personality of God said it is what is that? One is forced to act sinfully. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, it is lust only. Lust, Arjun, which is born of contact with the material mode of passion, and later transformed into wrath, and which is the all-devouring sinful enemy of this world. Lust. And then, beautiful purport Srila Prabhupada is giving. What is saying? When a living entity comes in contact with the material creation, his eternal love for Krishna is written, is removed this. What was that? One message came. Huh? He said, remove you from this material world. When a living entity comes in contact with the material creation, his eternal love for Krishna is transformed into lust. Remember, this lust is nothing but love of Krishna transformed, because we are in contact with Krishna's inferior energy, in association with the mode of passion, or in other words, the sense of love of God becomes transformed into lust, as milk is in contact with the sour tamarind is transformed into yolk. Then again, when lust is transferred, it turns into wrath. Then again, when the lust is unsatisfied, not transferred, unsatisfied, what is this sound? When lust is and unsatisfied, it turns into wrath. Wrath is transformed into illusion. Wrath is illusion. We are illusion because of this lust. Illusion, and illusion continues the material existence. Understand this. We are in illusion, and this continues the material existence. Therefore, lust is the greatest enemy of the living entity, and it is lust only in the material world. When wrath is the manifestation of the mode of ignorance, these modes exhibit themselves as wrath and other corollaries. If therefore the mode of passion, instead of being degraded into the mode of ignorance, is elevated to the mode of goodness by the prescribed method of living and acting, then one can be saved from the degradation of wrath by spiritual attachment. The Supreme Personality of Godhead expanded himself into many for his ever increasing spiritual bliss, and the living entities are parts and parcel of this spiritual bliss. Remember, we are Krishna's part and parcel. Doesn't matter man's body or woman's body. We are Krishna's part and parcel. But now, because of this wrath, this ignorance, this lust, we are forgetful that. And it continues the material existence. Get out of this material existence. Think of that inevitable death and prepare to turn back to Godhead. wake up, sleeping soul, to the eternal beauty of Krishna. जीव जागो, गौरा चंद्र बोले, कटा निद्रा जाओ माया पिछा चीरा खोले. Wake up, sleeping soul, to the eternal beauty of Krishna. You are sleeping in the lap of bitch called Maya. Lord Chaitanya has come to wake up us and sent Prabhupada to help us. So, entities are part and parcel of the spiritual bliss. They also have partial independence. We are partially independent, partial independence. But by misuse of their your mobile, no, you turn off, it's finished. You press that, it's finished. It was yours. Why keep your mobile off? Silent. Thus, material creation is created by the Lord. Attitude of transformed into the propensity of sense enjoyment. Before little. They also have partial independence, but by misuse of our partial independence, when the service attitude is transformed into propensity for sense enjoyment, we should serve, not sense enjoyment. Then what happens? They come under the sway of lust. This material creation is created by the Lord to give up facility to the conditioned souls to fulfill their lustful propensities. And when completely baffled by prolonged lustful activities, the living entities begin to inquire about their real position. This inquiry is the beginning of the Vedanta Sutra, wherein it is said, Atato Brahma Jagyasa. One should inquire unto the Supreme and the Supreme is defined in Srimad Bhagavatam as Janmadi Asya Jata. Itartascha. The origin of everything is the Supreme Brahma. Therefore, the origin of lust is also in the Supreme. If therefore lust is transformed into love for the Supreme, or transformed into Krishna consciousness, or in other words, desiring everything for Krishna, everything for Krishna, nothing for ourselves, then both lust and wrath can be spiritualized. Hanuman, the great servitor of Lord Ram, exhibited his wrath by burning the golden city of Ravana. But by doing so, he became the greatest devotee of the Lord. Here also, in Bhagavad Gita, the Lord induces Arjuna to engage his wrath upon the enemies for the satisfaction of the Lord. Therefore, lust and wrath, when they are employed in Krishna consciousness, becomes our friends instead of our enemies. Surrender unto me. Hare Krishna. So we have to become devotee of Krishna, surrender unto the lotus feet of Krishna, perfect this life, otherwise the life is failure. Prabhupada is giving you the opportunity to avail or not avail, is up to you. Even Krishna has mentioned to Arjun when he asked, Madhapriya, you can keep this now. Huh? He won't ask you back. He is a very generous person. You will ask back?
This one, yes, I can get you another one.
Okay, then it's okay. Devotees, we should be Krishna conscious so that we can return back home, back to Godhead. This material world is not our home. We should not try to make a permanent home in a temporary situation and then create a horrible situation. When soul will be forced to leave everything, very difficult. Pray for the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. If you have any difficulty to follow this, Prabhupada is all spiritual personality. He is a pure devotee sent by Krishna to help the fallen souls to get out of this material attachment. Prabhupada used to say, our mission is to save the souls. How the souls will be saved? Only when they come to the shelter of Krishna, not otherwise. Souls can only be saved when they come to the shelter of Krishna. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Krishna Krishna. Hare Hare. Hare Ram. Hare Ram. Ram Ram. Hare Hare. Jai Shri Krishna. Chaitanya. Prabhu Nityananda. Shri Advaita. Gadadhar. Shri Vasadi. Gaur Bhakta. Brinda. Hare Nama Om. Vishnu Padaya. Krishna Prishtaya. Bhutale. Srimate. Bhakti Vedanta. Swami. Iti Namane. Namaste. Saraswati Deve. Gauravani. Pracharane. Nirvishesh. Shunyavadi. Paschatya Desh. Tarane. Hare Krishna. Thank you for listening. And any question anybody has?
The story of King Harishchandra, how he was very determined to his cause. My problem is that I would give up on the first chance.
Huh?
I would give up immediately if I was in his situation.
Wow.
How do we develop that kind of determination?
By chanting, by getting initiated, following the rules and regulation. It will come gradually. But if we understand, and sometimes looks like what is going to happen, mind will show you so many green gardens. So mind, when it's unclean, it misguides us. But if you take this path, like in my case, from the beginning of my life, you can say, when I was 5, 6 years old, I was trying to be Krishna conscious. But when I was thinking to go out of home, then I used to think where I am going to go, where I am going to stay, where I am going to eat. But then by divine arrangement of Prabhupada and Gaur Nitai and Radha Krishna, when I left, not one day I was hungry or everything Krishna gave. Weak mind pull you back. But if you take step, mind then defeat it. You have any question? No question. Any question here? Right side, left side? Hare Krishna.